Carl Jung once said that withdrawal isn't weakness, it's wisdom. When you stop being endlessly available, life begins to reveal what was real and what was merely convenient. Most people confuse presence with love, accessibility with loyalty, and availability with kindness. But constant access drains depth. It teaches others to consume your energy instead of value it. There comes a moment in every awakening when your spirit grows tired of being everywhere but home, tired of saying yes to obligations that dim your light, tired of being understood only when you're needed. When you step back, the silence becomes diagnostic. You start to see who notices your absence, who respects your distance, and who fades when you stop serving their comfort. This video isn't about isolation, it's about energetic boundaries, about the quiet strength that forms when you no longer trade your peace for proximity. Because the truth is simple. When you stop being available to everyone, you become fully available to yourself. Subscribe if you're ready to turn absence into power and rediscover the parts of you that overexposure made invisible. 1. Your absence exposes who was using you. It's only when you step back that people's true intentions step forward. For years, you may have mistaken your generosity for connection, thinking that showing up for everyone meant being loved by everyone. But availability, when unguarded, blurs love and need. It gives others unlimited access to your energy while quietly eroding your sense of worth. You begin to measure your value by how much you can give, how often you can answer, how little you can need in return. Then one day something shifts. You stop responding right away. You say no without an apology. You pull your energy inward, not as punishment, but protection. And suddenly the world reacts. The people who are nourished by your constant presence start to pull away, accuse you of changing, or treat your boundaries as betrayal. But that discomfort isn't rejection. It's revelation. Your absence becomes a mirror showing who was there for you and who was only there for what you provided. It's a painful kind of clarity, because you start to realize how often your love was mistaken for labor, how often your time was treated like a resource rather than a gift. The ones who truly cared adjust to your new rhythm. They respect your silence, they wait without resentment, they honor the pause. But those who were feeding on your openness will crumble without their supply. This is the paradox of awakening. When you stop being available, you stop being useful to the wrong people. The relationships that remain are fewer, quieter, deeper. They no longer demand performance. They meet you in peace. You'll notice something subtle too. The air around you shifts. Your absence becomes presence. The energy that was once scattered returns to your body. The constant noise of other people's needs fades, and suddenly you can hear yourself again. What you once mistook for loneliness was actually your own soul asking for your attention. Carl Jung spoke of individuation, the process of becoming who you truly are. Withdrawal is its first step. Not as escape, but as alignment. When you retreat, the masks around you fall away, revealing who was drawn to your light and who was only drawn to the warmth it gave them. Don't fear the fallout. The ones who vanish when you stop being available were never meant to stay. Your silence didn't push them away. It simply stopped holding them close. Let the distance do its work. In time, you'll realize that losing access to everyone was the price of gaining access to yourself. Because in the end, your absence doesn't just expose who was using you. It frees you from the illusion that love must be earned through exhaustion. It reminds you that real connection thrives in respect, not demand, and that the ones who truly see you will never need you to disappear before they notice your worth. 2. Energy given freely breeds entitlement. You think generosity builds love, but unchecked generosity builds expectation. The more freely you give your time, attention, and emotional labor, the less others recognize its weight. What once felt like kindness becomes routine to them, invisible, assumed. And suddenly, what should have been gratitude turns into entitlement. It's not because people are inherently cruel. It's because energy without boundaries trains them to forget its cost. When you overextend, you unintentionally teach others that your presence requires no effort, that your listening has no limits, that your compassion can be taken without being replenished. They stop asking if you have the space to give. They simply take. It's a slow erosion, not loud betrayal, but quiet depletion. You begin to feel unseen in relationships where you once felt essential. Every of course, you say, chips away at your vitality until you start mistaking exhaustion for loyalty. You feel guilty for wanting rest, for craving reciprocity, for not wanting to give endlessly. But guilt is not truth, it's conditioning. You've been taught that love means self-abandonment, that saying yes makes you good, and saying no makes you cold. The truth is, energy, like currency, gains value through boundaries. When something is limitless, it's taken for granted. When something is finite, it's honored. The moment you stop offering your presence unconditionally, people began to see what it was actually worth. Scarcity reveals sacredness. And here lies the paradox. Your withdrawal won't make others appreciate you immediately. At first, it'll confuse them. Some will get angry, others will guilt you. They'll call you distant, detached, or selfish. Not because you've changed, but because your change disrupts their comfort. They were addicted to your light, and now you've turned it inward. But this discomfort is necessary. You are not here to be endlessly available. You are here to be aligned. The energy you give must have direction, not just volume. And when you start giving consciously, when you decide who, when, and how to offer your presence, your life reorganizes. Relationships shift from dependency to respect. People who once expected everything now think twice before asking. And those who truly love you begin to give back without being asked. Jung once said, the privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. To do that, you must stop diluting yourself for those who only notice your absence when they need something. Generosity without discernment isn't love, it's leakage. When you stop giving freely, you start giving meaningfully. Your no becomes sacred. Your yes becomes deliberate. And your energy, once scattered among countless obligations, begins to concentrate, glowing brighter, warmer, and truer. This is the quiet revolution of self-respect. It doesn't announce itself. It doesn't demand apology. It simply reclaims power from the places you left it, and people's expectations, in obligations disguised as love, in dynamics that fed off your constant availability. The day you stop giving freely isn't the day you become selfish. It's the day you start remembering that your energy was never free to begin with. It was sacred, and anything sacred loses power when shared carelessly. So pull it back, protect it, Let them miss what they mistook for endless supply. Because sometimes the most powerful way to teach others the value of your energy is to stop giving it away for nothing at all. 3. Withholding is not cruelty, it's clarity. We grow up taught that love means giving endlessly, that kindness requires sacrifice, that boundaries are selfish. But the truth is, withholding isn't cruelty, it's clarity. It's the moment you stop diffusing your energy into spaces that drain rather than uplift you. It's the act of reclaiming your presence so that it can be given intentionally rather than scattered indiscriminately. When you withdraw emotionally, physically, or energetically, people will feel it. Some will interpret it as coldness, indifference, or rejection. That's not because you've become cruel. It's because their dependence on your availability has been unchallenged. They've never had to confront the fact that your energy has limits. Withholding reveals these limits, and limits reveal truth. This clarity functions as a filter. It distinguishes those who genuinely value you from those who take you for granted. Those aligned with your vibration, the ones who respect your energy and honor your presence, will adjust, reach out authentically, and meet you where you are. Those who drain, manipulate, or rely solely on your giving will reveal themselves naturally. The withdrawal is not punishment. It's the universe using you as an instrument of self-selection. Withholding is also a mirror. When you stop bending to meet the expectations of others, you see your relationships clearly. Who needs you because they love you? Who needs you because they are addicted to your light? Who respects your absence and who resents it? Every reaction becomes data, not for judgment, but for awareness. This clarity is transformative because it reconnects you to your own rhythm. Before, you may have been lost in the patterns of others' needs, constantly adjusting, pleasing, performing. When you withhold, you step back into your own space. Your energy stops flowing outward in default and instead becomes conscious. You begin to notice what you truly want to give and to whom. Many confuse withholding with detachment or abandonment, but it's neither. It is neither cold nor passive-aggressive. It is a sacred pause, a protective measure to honor your vitality and discern your true circle. Withholding does not diminish your love. It refines it. It teaches reciprocity, respect, and the subtle art of conscious energy exchange. When practiced with awareness, withholding dissolves codependency, rescues you from exhaustion, and elevates the frequency of your connections. It separates the essential from the expendable, aligning your world with the people and opportunities that truly resonate with your soul. The moment you stop being available to everyone, you stop hiding behind the mask of universal obligation. Your presence becomes deliberate. Your energy, once diluted, now has weight. And in this weight and this gravity, your life begins to settle into alignment, not because you forced it, but because your boundaries made reality clearer. Withholding is not cruelty. It is clarity. It is the quiet declaration that your spirit is not a commodity. And when you honor that truth, the universe honors it too, guiding the right souls into your orbit, while letting go of the ones who were never meant to stay. 4. Distance recalibrates power. When you are always present, always reachable, always giving, always available, something subtle but profound happens. Your power diffuses. The more you orbit others' needs, the more you lose sight of your own gravity. You've been trained to measure your worth by your usefulness, your kindness, your constant motion toward others. But in this ceaseless giving, you forget the magnetic core of your own being. Distance, then, is the secret recalibrator. When you pull back, even slightly, the balance begins to shift. The energy you once poured outward is no longer there to prop up the dynamics of dependency. Those who depended on your availability suddenly face a vacuum. Their perception of you changes. Absence breeds reflection. They remember you. They feel your weight. It is not manipulation, though the effect may feel like it. Distance is not a strategy. It is a consequence of self-respect. By stepping away from constant service, you let your natural gravity reassert itself. You are no longer orbiting around the validation of others. Your presence is no longer diluted by endless accommodation. Your energy has boundaries, and boundaries are power. Power, in its truest form, is rarely aggressive or loud. It is magnetic, gravitational, quiet. When you are fully available, you risk scattering your influence. When you withdraw, even briefly, the universe begins to realign. Those who truly belong in your orbit feel the shift. They are pulled in by your authenticity, your discernment, your refusal to be taken for granted. Distance also forces awareness, both theirs and yours. People confront their own expectations, attachments, and dependencies. They recognize what they were taking lightly. Meanwhile, you recognize the strength in your own autonomy. You see who respects your space and who resents it, who thrives when your presence is optional, and who crumbles without it. This recalibration goes beyond relationships. It shifts internal power too. You stop bending to please, stop performing to be liked, stop chasing energy that doesn't honor you. Your focus turns inward toward the gravity of your own purpose, your own center. And paradoxically, this self-alignment makes your energy more attractive, not because you are performing, but because you are complete. Distance is the quiet educator of respect. It teaches others the value of your presence and teaches you the depth of your own. It creates a magnetic field that was always there, waiting to be acknowledged. The world responds not to your availability, but to your authenticity, to the space you hold and refuse to surrender. 5. When you withdraw, you return to yourself. Withdrawing isn't punishment. It isn't a power play or an act of defiance. It's an act of reclamation, a deliberate turning inward to find the part of you that has been diluted, stretched, and scattered by constant availability. Every time you were on call for others' needs, every moment you overextended yourself to maintain relationships, approval, or comfort, a piece of your own energy was siphoned off. Withdrawal is the recognition that what was once given freely must be returned. Your time, your focus, your peace. In this return to self, the transformation begins. You no longer define yourself by your usefulness or by how much you can give without reciprocity. You step away from the invisible treadmill of obligation and enter the quiet center that always existed beneath the noise. In that stillness, clarity emerges. You see which energies nourish you, which relationships align with your purpose, and which interactions were merely consuming your vitality. Solitude isn't emptiness, it's homecoming. It is a reconnection to the gravity of your own being. You rediscover the contours of your energy, the natural rhythm of your mind, and the subtle heartbeat of your intuition. Every thought and feeling now passes through a filter of self-respect, not external expectation. You begin to sense what is truly yours to carry and what must be released. As you reclaim yourself, you also reclaim your choices. You act from presence, not from compulsion. You engage when it aligns with your purpose and step back when it doesn't. No longer reactive, no longer drained, you move with intention rather than habit. This withdrawal allows you to rebuild boundaries that were previously invisible, to honor your own limits without guilt, and to create space for what is authentic. Interestingly, withdrawal doesn't isolate you from the world. It reconnects you to it in a deeper way. When you operate from your center, your energy shifts. Relationships either naturally recalibrate around your newfound integrity, or they fall away, revealing who truly belongs in your life. What seemed like loss and absence often turns out to be a gain in alignment. The paradox is that by stepping back, you create the conditions for connection that are real, energetic, and powerful. You no longer need to chase attention, validation, or love. Instead, the world begins to respond to your authenticity. Your presence is no longer diluted by obligation. It is magnetic because it is unfiltered and true. Withdrawal is a return to sovereignty. It is remembering that your energy is not a commodity to be spent indiscriminately, but a sacred resource to steward wisely. And in that stewardship, you find freedom, power, and a deeper resonance with life itself. When you withdraw, you are not stepping away from life. You are stepping into it fully. The energy that was once scattered across endless demands now circles back to you, empowering every choice, every action, and every connection. From this reclaimed center, everything changes, not because you manipulate circumstances, but because you finally exist as your truest self. You stop being everyone else's option and become fully your own. In that space, the world begins to adjust, and everything naturally, effortlessly falls into its proper place. The act of stepping back is not withdrawal from life, but a profound return to your own center. When you stop being constantly available, you stop giving pieces of yourself that were never meant to be spent freely. Your energy, focus, and peace are reclaimed, and in that reclamation, clarity and power naturally emerge. This return to self reshapes everything: relationships, priorities, and the way the world responds to you. People either rise to meet your new standards or drift away, revealing their true alignment with your energy. You no longer chase, manipulate, or perform. You simply exist from a place of sovereignty, and life begins to mirror that authenticity. Ultimately, the transformation is simple yet radical. By being fully present in your own life, by honoring your boundaries and your essence, you create a space where alignment, respect, and true connection can flourish. Withdrawal isn't loss, it's the gateway to freedom. The moment you choose yourself, everything changes effortlessly. If this resonates, subscribe for more insights on reclaiming your energy, mastering your boundaries, and awakening to the truth of your own power. Your journey to presence and inner sovereignty begins here.